Open House Podcast, just a man do the best he can with what he got. And today I got a very special guest, Michael Henderson, owner of Arbor Harbor Production Company, and my homie here to talk about all things Hollywood. Mike, how you doing, man?
Good, sir. It's good to see your face again. It's been since God, was it? When did we come see you? It was like 2016? No,
2018, wasn't it?
2018. That's what it was.
Yeah, because it's right before COVID and before the movie.
Yeah, that was when you were still in Japan. Yeah.
Yeah. Full disclosure, I messed up. We already started this podcast. I'm just, I just got to keep it real. I'm sorry. We was in good topic, man. We was flowing. It was going deep. But we were talking about the BAFTAs incident.
And I had related to Marcus that I was talking to, of course, a white guy who suggested that they should have put the guy with Tourette's in his own room so that people who wanted to deal with him could and no one else had to. And my point is that sounds very much like segregation in the United States.
I make the point again that when the incident happened, everybody went to the extremes. They went to the far extremes of the fringes. Some people were saying that, hey, he meant to say that was in his heart. You can't say it was not in your heart. And that was stupid because Tourette's is a neurological condition where the person can't control what they say. Like, it was totally understandable why he said what he said. Plus, that wasn't the only offensive thing he said all night. He was saying homophobic slurs. I think he called Alan Turner a pedophile, right? So, like, it happened.
Well, was he in the Epstein files?
Hey, man, put a pin in that. We're going to talk about that in a minute. People went to too many extremes, and my whole gripe about the whole thing wasn't so much why he said it. It was just that the BAFTAs felt that, man. They had a hot mic on him, and they set him up for failure.
Well, and that was my point. Is like he's walking a fine line because depending on his phrasing and what he says, like he shouldn't have to apologize for being born a certain way, right? And I think because he was there for a documentary about himself and his
John's not mad.
Yeah. And so having to walk that fine line of not apologizing for being born a certain way, but still, expressing empathy for people who maybe were not expecting to have to deal with that,
Well, no, honestly, he didn't have to apologize. He really didn't. Like, I'll be the first to say he didn't have to apologize. It was known to the guests that somebody with Tourette's was going to be there.
Yeah.
It was known that outbursts was going to happen. It was really the BAFTA's fault for having a hot mic and not editing it out, especially when you're on a 2-hour time delay.
The fact that they left that in and like, that's just insane to me. Like it's not like it happened and then they were like, oh, what? I forgot, like this is literally a big deal. Like when it happens and like, just to forget about it somehow and be like, well, let's post it to the internet, like that's ridiculous. Somebody should absolutely get fired.
So that's the point I made, right? And people are like, no, you're going too far. Like, no, that's a fireable offense. If you can't edit out, if your job is to edit out stuff on time delay and you fail at that, you get fired.
Yeah, to the point you made when you weren't recording, they cut out plenty of stuff about Palestine and like shit like that. So like, I don't know that there's any excuse for, it could have been an honest mistake. Probably was, but still people get fired for honest mistakes.
Well, that's the thing, right? Because the elephant in the room was a white man called black guys the N-word, and it was heard. If that was done publicly and they edited it out, then nobody would ever knew about this. But the fact they didn't, and it was public, we all had to deal with this. And I just felt like everybody was dancing around that fact, like, yo, a white dude just called some black guys the N-words. So what are we gonna do? So not to acknowledge Michael B. Jordan, Oscar-winning actor Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo was kind of a omission that made it bigger than what it had to be. Had he just came out and said, yo, I understand the implications of this. I know how especially Black Americans can feel when they hear that word. My bad, neurological disease. Let me tell you about Tourette's. I think that would have played better.
That's the thing too, is like, he didn't come out of that feeling good for sure, Right. Like, even though he's been dealing with this his whole life, this was like probably a much more public thing than
way more
he's, dealt with before, especially like for it to be Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo,
Out of all
like
the people,
it's not like it's not like he passed you walking down the street, said
right?
the word, and you were like, "What?" And he's like, "Sorry, I have Tourette's," and you're like, "Oh, okay."
I would have understood it more, right? Than I mean, look, Michael B. Jordan and Delroy Lindo handled it with grace and dignity. It was very graceful on their end. It was a failing of the BAFTAs in general. And as I got more time to look at them, like, yo, that's really what we need to be focusing our ire at. Not really so much John or Oscar winner Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, I agree. But like I said, just having that one interaction with someone who wanted to put the guy with the Tourette's in a separate room, I was like, that's fucking ridiculous.
Let me just be honest, dog. That is really pissing me off because anytime somebody's trying to exclude people, I instantly go to the black box. I do. I'm like, yo, dog. Like even when black people are exclusion of our LGBTQA plus brothers and sisters, I'm like, yo, bro, you are just literally suggesting all the stuff that happen to black people. Like, I hate that. So for him to even say that, like, you gotta get over yourself, dude. Like, tell me you don't
No.
hang around people with disabilities without telling me you don't hang around people with disabilities.
Well, and then it's because it's like it's the slippery slope, right? Like,
Mhm.
yeah, no, this guy's in a wheelchair. I don't, that makes me uncomfortable. Let's
Mhm.
put him in his own room. Oh, this person has red hair. That makes me uncomfortable. Let's put them in their own room. It's like,
Mhm.
and like he was complaining because he like has a neighbor that um schizophrenic and always yells at his wife. That's where he's like it makes her very uncomfortable, right? He's like, I don't like him having him as a neighbor and blah blah blah. And I'm like, but dude, like schizophrenic people mostly engage in self-harm. Like, yeah, it may make your wife uncomfortable, but like,
Also, I don't think all disabilities aren't transferable. There's levels to this, right? This is going to be a broader topic, and I apologize for doing this,
I don't know.
but it's really because we don't have a good healthcare system and we don't really diagnose people that we tend to lump every neurological or disability in with each other. Like I remember in the 80s, I was like one of the first people in Arkansas. Yes, I'm from Arkansas, don't laugh. But I was one of the first people in Arkansas to get diagnosed with ADHD. But when that was new, people were like, oh, that ain't real, man. He just don't want to concentrate. He just that wasn't a real thing. People were like, oh man, that boy just lazy. I was like, yo, no. Nobody tried to understand that. And that's kind of the point we have now. Nobody has understanding or tried to seek out knowledge. Like even before I did that podcast, I went and like read up on Tourette's. I'm like, oh, okay. And a lot of preconceived notions I had. I was like, oh man, Marcus, you tripping, dog. Take that out. Like, cause I didn't know that. But nobody researches anymore or have any kind of level of empathy.
Like I'm a big like education person. Like I think having a good education system would like eventually solve all problems in the world.
Agreed.
But what I've realized that is not really taught and never has been is empathy. Like I think that's actually the first thing we should be teaching kids. We do it. I mean, there's a little bit of it, but there's no like really structured kind of. It's not like a goal. Teach kids how to be empathetic. Teach kids how to see things from another perspective. Most parents can't teach that because they were never taught that. So I think on a societal level, there should be some kind of like push towards that. I mean, it's going to be a tall order because people are going to be like, "You're making my kids woke,
You
or
beat me to
whatever."
it. It's like that. So, and I'm an independent man, but the right in particular does a really good job of hijacking words and repurposing them and making them mean something that you don't want to. Like I always had this joke. You want to know what white privilege is? White privilege is taking a black word and just making it mean whatever the hell you want to mean. Because woke never meant what these people are making it out to mean.
I just want to state for the record, Marcus, I am also not a Democrat because I've never found a candidate in any party that cares about the issues I care about. Because my number one issue is I want the death penalty for littering. And no one is talking about this, Marcus, so they don't get my vote.
It's funny, right? Because I was talking to my homie about voting, and he was like, "Man, Marcus, you vote every election?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do. I vote every election." He's like, "Well, which party do you vote for?" I'm like, "Look, I vote my interest. I vote for whoever gonna give me the most shit. I literally look at the list of things you offer me versus the list of things the other person is offering me, and I vote for that person. Somebody asked, is there a world you would vote for Trump? I'm like, had he gave me a list of things I like, yes. It's just everything he was offering was stupid and I don't agree with. So no, I'm not going to vote for him. It's just that simple. And people are like, well, why are you voting for people? I'm like, because no matter what, I'm going to have to live with the results of one of these guys. Whoever's going to be least fucked up, that's the person I'm voting for. I'm not voting for perfect. I'm voting for the least fucked up.
I will admit, I never voted in presidential elections until Trump ran because I didn't care. Like I said, no one was talking about the issues that I thought were important. I'm not saying each side was equally as bad. I'm just saying that for me personally, they were equally as bad, right? Back in the day, they both brought things to the table that were, I guess, distasteful to me,
Yes,
right?
agreed.
Uh, but when Trump ran, I immediately registered to vote in California.
Stop this.
It was like, I don't care who this fucker's running against. I'm voting against, like I was just like, I can't even do it. So anyway, just wanted to state that, like, so that, anyone watching understand that I am not a Democrat. Because my second biggest issue, Marcus, after the death penalty for littering, is I believe there should be mandatory open carry for anyone over the age of 18.
I'll do you one better. I feel like when you're born, birth certificate and a gun.
You know what? It's if the government's going to pay for classes to train those babies to use the guns responsibly, I'm all for it. So I know we're like all over the place right now, but like I personally am pro Second Amendment because it is the Second Amendment. Believe in the rule of law and find it hilarious that so many Democrats who complain about Trump ignoring the rule of law are trying to pass all these gun control things that are clearly unconstitutional based on the wording of the Second Amendment. And like it just goes back to lack of empathy and lack of like I guess self-reflection. That's the other thing that should be taught. Empathy and self-reflection and thinking about like why am I acting the way I'm acting, you know?
We don't like nobody puts themselves in the other person's shoe, and much like you, I'm pro Second Amendment, like all the way. I do feel like we do need to stop sugarcoating what it's for, though. If I got a gun, it's to kill you.
Well, so this is my biggest issue with people like the NRA and people like the Second Amendment was put in the Constitution to give the citizens the ability to protect themselves from the
From the
government.
government. Yes.
That's that's why the Second Amendment was put in there, and that's what I mean, clearly, if you're a Democrat or an independent, you should buy a gun if you don't have one.
Yeah. No.
They're coming for you,
Yeah.
if things keep going the way they're going. Gun sales should be spiking for the liberal side of things. That's what it was for. That's literally what it's for, is so that when Trump sends his jackbooted thugs to come after you, you can protect yourself from them.
I think it's a disconnect because people don't even realize what government workers are. And I keep telling them, the police is the government, right? I hate the government, but I'm pro police. I'm like, that's an oxymoron, my G. The government is the police.
It's always like if you had empathy, you would understand that our whole system is designed for the police to kill people. Most of these people that become cops are they're not exceptional people. I mean, very few people are exceptional people, right? But it's like teachers, right? You would hope that exceptional people would become teachers, but they generally don't
Hmm.
because it doesn't pay well.
Hmm.
Same with being a cop, right? But what does being a cop come with? Like responsibility and power
Lord and power.
and
Yep.
not a high rate of pay. So what do you think is going to happen when you mix all those things together, plus the risk of getting shot in the line of your duty, in the line of duty? So like, I don't know what the solution is for that, but there needs to be a like fundamental change in how we handle police work, I think,
I got a
because like, right,
solution.
yeah,
I got a solution. So first, we paid like you hit the nail on the head. We pay the cops too less. We pay the cops way too little to do too much. My heart goes out to any police officer because they got to be a counselor, they got to be a traffic stop guy, they got to be, in some cases, a judge to judge character. They got so many things they got to do, and we keep on dumping more things on them. They got to stop every petty crime. They got to stop drug abuse. Everything they got to do. We ask them to do too much. I truly believe every police officer minimum should be $100,000. We should do that. And now some people, we ain't got the money for that. Yeah, but we got money for war. So you
Yeah.
should pay every police officer $100,000 with the stipulation you got to live in the neighborhood you police. So in my town, South Memphis is a rough and tumble urban neighborhood. If you want that $100,000, you got to live in South Memphis because you need to get an understanding of that environment, and you can't see those people living in that neighborhood as the other, which a lot of police officers do. They live in a good part of town, they come back to the bad part of town and deal with the animals and the savages. No, you want that $100,000, you got to live in that area. The next thing I would do for every police officer, man, I would tell them, man, we're getting rid of qualified immunity.
Mm,
I can sue you. If
yeah.
you fuck up on your job, I should be able to sue you for everything you got.
I that's a tough one for me, Marcus. To sue them personally, I think there needs to be some qualifiers on that because they do have a job to do, and it is possible to make genuine mistakes, like we talked about. I don't think it made it on the recording because you weren't recording when we talked about that.
True.
Um, but uh, being able to go after, like, you should be able to sue the police departments 100% because most likely it's their training and their like standards of whatever that led to the incident happening. Um, so like if someone was in good faith doing their job and just fucked up, like I don't know that you should be able to go after them personally for that. That's like like if you can show malice, yeah, I'm all for it. But I feel like that's just a step too far because like it is a hard job and there's no way to do it perfectly, you know?
my,
You
my,
know?
my
Like
pushback to that is the converse of what you said, right? So we can't assume that it was bad training that got them. We can sue the police department. But what if the police department had a strict regiment training and you deviated from that? I don't think the police department should be held responsible.
in that case, like if you can show, malice aforethought, like they're a bad actor, then yeah, you should be able to sue them. But I think I just feel like there needs to be that certain level of protection for someone who's just doing their job and got put in a bad situation and just made the wrong decision.
See, I don't know though, right? Because in any other job, if you mess up, you're going to be held responsible and fired.
But
I
you'll
think,
be fired, but you won't necessarily be sued personally. That's
okay,
that's that's the part that I'm kind of like if I serve you bad food, right, at a restaurant, you absolutely should sue the restaurant. No, but if you can prove that I'm the one that purposely served you bad food, then absolutely, like there should be no reason you can't come after me for that, you know?
all right, let me
So
refine that a little bit then. So in this case, there's a lot of hothead cops. We all know the guy who in high school was a little bit off tilt and just wanted to lord that power. A lot of times, man, it is like structural, and the training tells you to abuse your power. And the police department should definitely be held accountable for that. But on the offsuit chance that the police department can show a good structured training regiment and that cop still deviates from that, I don't think the taxpayer should be on the hook for that.
my caveat or my counterpoint to that would be, why is he still working there?
It's a fair point too, right? That's a fair point.
Because like so here's what I was gonna say. Like I do think in the context of cops, like anyone who turns off their body camera should be immediately fired.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Now we're on the
Immediately
same
fired.
page. Yes. Okay. Yes.
Like I do believe like I am a fan of like every cop should have a body cam and it should be on at all times they are on duty. And I'd almost want to say even when they're off duty if they're not at their house.
Now, okay. Now you're losing me on. Oh, that one. Oh, that one.
Well, because being a cop gives you power.
Mhm. Okay, I see what you're saying. I disagree, but I see what you're saying. It's a good point because you're
Yeah.
never not a cop, and you always can lord that cop power over somebody. So it's like you damn near always got to have an eye on you. I would argue though, we already got eyes everywhere, and it's enough videotape. I mean, this is basically Big Brother everywhere. Like, there's nowhere you can go in America where a camera is not pointed on you. Like, especially in Memphis, every corner has a camera.
Yeah, but I mean, if we're giving cops the higher salaries, I'm not so sure it's wrong to ask for them even when they're off duty to prove that they're not abusing their
I,
power.
yeah, I mean, when can you be off duty though? Like that's kind of a stress of always being on duty. I do feel like you should be able to detach and be like, hey, I'm a cop, but I'm not on duty. I'm just taking my wife out to this movie. I don't want to have to worry about being videotaped, right? I mean, I do feel like we have went too far in surveillance. Like we have become a surveillance state. But I do think if you're a public official, videotape should, especially if you got that type of power as cops. So I see your point, but when you're off duty, nah, you can turn it off. But for me,
I mean, yeah, and like I want to be clear, Marcus. Like I'm not like not everything I'm saying I'm necessarily like advocating for. Some of this is just like off the cuff,
same
like,
here.
you know, because like I don't know, like there's no that's the thing. Everyone wants an easy solution, right? There aren't any easy solutions.
I think that's the honest takeaway from that. Hard pivot. The Oscars, do they matter? Like, what is your take on the art? Because we do a lot of indie films, and I feel like the art is really in indie films.
All right, this is going to be a hot take, right? So in I forget what year it was, right? But they had expanded Best Picture nominees to 10, right? I think they've reduced it again, right? It's no longer 10.
I
I don't
think
know.
so. Yeah.
Because this is the year I stopped caring about the Oscars. Because The Hurt Locker won Best Picture. However, you know what was also up for Best Picture? Up.
That's a classic.
Up was up for Best Picture, and I will, to my grave, maintain that Up is a better movie than The Hurt Locker, and it should have won that year. And that's when I was like, this show is bullshit, and I am done with it.
Man, you put me in the Hurt Locker was it's great. It was great.
Look, no, I'm not. I want to be clear. I'm not putting down The Hurt Locker. I'm just saying that Up should have won the Oscar just for the first 5 minutes.
The first 5 minutes of Up, man, tore me apart, bro. I'm like, oh
Dude,
my
it
God.
tears everyone apart. That's what I mean. Like that is what a movie is for. The first 5 minutes of Up is like I saw it in the theater with my ex and a friend of ours, and I swear I like had to go get like a raincoat to protect me from all the tears just in the first 5 minutes. I think the Oscars do not matter, and I thought that since Hurt Locker beat Up.
Small segue. The two Disney movies that really tore me apart emotionally was the beginning of Up and the end of Toy Story 3, bro. Toy Story
Oh,
3 had me
dude.
blinking hard as hell.
Well, so I wasn't hit as hard by the end of Toy Story 3, but it wasn't because of the movie. It was because of what was happening in the theater that I was in. So the whole movie, there's this obviously special needs kid
Mm.
who's going, "Meow,
Okay.
meow," right? Throughout the so they're doing it and like, you get used to it or whatever. But then like so we're in the end scene where they're all gonna die or whatever. And the kid's like, "Meow." And somebody goes, can someone get that kid a muzzle? And
Oh
then
man. That's not
there were two guys, it was like a family group, I guess, or whatever, like some maybe like a father and an uncle or whatever. And they're like pretty burly dudes.
Mm,
So they stand up
of course.
and start walking in the like wheelchair area, and they're like, who said that? Who the fuck said that? Come down here. While the toys are dying on the screen.
Well, that killed that for me.
They're yelling and like they're like, who said that? And the kid's like, meh, meh, meh. And I like Mark, I can't even explain to you, Marcus, how it was just like it was the most ridiculous experience I've ever been a part of. And they're like till the credits, dude. They're like walking around, like looking around the theater, like, and the kid's just like, meh. And like, needless to say, the emotional impact of the ending of Toy Story 3 was somewhat reduced by this experience in the theater.
Fair enough. But the question, oh, come on, get it, Marcus. The question I really got about the Oscars really mattering is in the indie films versus Hollywood debate. I don't want to take away from the talent of people who are in mainstream movies. There's nothing original. There's nothing taking risks. Everything is kind of a formula now. Or am I looking at this wrong? I mean, you're in Hollywood.
Well,
What do
I,
you
I
think?
would say this year, actually, I mean, because we had Sinners, which I haven't seen. I don't think I've seen any of the Best Picture nominees, by the way. I just want to throw that out there. But then there was like, what was it? One Battle After Another, like, so I feel like there were movies that had like people nominated and were nominated themselves that like, I don't think you could really call necessarily formulaic or
Mm.
derivative. S- And so like the truth is I probably never would have heard about some of these movies if they hadn't been nominated, right? Because I live kind of information bubble where oh, okay, I do read deadline.com, so I probably would have heard about them just because of who was in them.
Right.
But like I wouldn't have been like, oh, that sounds like something I want to see. Except Sinners does sound like something I want to see. The only reason I haven't seen it yet is because it's has some similarities with a book series that I want to option and make into a movie.
So it's funny you say that because I haven't watched Sinners because out of spite, and you told me this because you was helping me write a movie, which I still got on the table. I'm still trying to sell. But I was writing a movie. I kid you not. That's so similar to Sinners to the point out of spite, I wouldn't watch it. I was like, and you told me this too when I wrote my first movie. You was like, hey, there's no such thing as original idea. Something's always gonna be similar to something. But out of spite, I just refused to watch Sinners. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it. But I was like, hell no, that's too close to the movie I was writing.
Well, and like so it's not that close to the books I want to option, but like because the books I want to option it's set with a vampire pre-Civil War in America,
Hmm. So,
but it's still like old-timey vampire, like and a little bit against the typical vampire tropes.
so mine was pre-Civil War, right? At Civil War. Matter of fact, it leads into a Civil War rebellion. And it was zombies, not vampires, but the whole slave angle. I'm like, damn it, man, I had that.
Mm. Yeah, the books I want to option, they didn't emphasize that too much. Um, because the main character uh was neither a slave nor a slave owner, but it was like tangential to what was happening to her, like as she was going through the story. But
Let's go back to your point. I guess there's no such thing as an original idea, and I'm going to know how to chalk it up and just continue writing it just because I
well,
need
I
to
mean,
write it.
I I never meant that to be like a don't try to do it thing, because obviously there's just because two people make a pre-Civil War zombie movie doesn't mean they're the same. We've had like a million zombie movies and a million vampire movies, and plenty of them are different enough that like people are still watching them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to get over it. But I think that's kind of the argument I was trying to make with the Oscars about like indie versus Hollywood, because it getting to the point I think networking is more important than skills. And I don't know how we get the skills back in there, or that may be my jaded point of view.
Like I feel like I've never gotten a job in Los Angeles where I didn't know somebody.
Mhm.
Never. Like when I worked in IT, I could get jobs where I didn't know people. Los Angeles in video and film production? No. Doesn't I don't know anyone who's gotten a job involving movies or TV, even indie films, where they didn't know anyone, except maybe PAs. But even then, a lot of times people just hire PAs that they've already worked
Used
with.
before, yeah.
Yeah,
And,
or that other PAs have recommended to them.
and that's kind of the problem I have, right? Because we keep saying there's no original stories, there's no original ideas, but there is a level of gatekeeping where shit, it's a lot of people got original stories, original ideas that you just won't put out. It's like, well, how do we get that out? And I think that's in the indie film space.
Yeah. And I mean, but the problem there is like how do you succeed? Counterpoint to right the film and TV and video industry uh is writing books. And as much as you want to trash talk Amazon, and I agree, like they do a lot of things, but the Kindle ecosystem and the
Yeah.
Kindle Unlimited specifically has allowed a lot of independent authors to self-publish and become
Yep.
very successful, like very successful. Like there's a lot of them who were just they started on Royal Road, which if you don't know is a website that you can go read stories for free. People publish them like 2 or 3 or 4 days a week, depending on their schedule, and you can just read through. And there's a lot of really good stuff on there. People become successful on Royal Road, then they either self-publish or there are these like indie publishing houses that have started up that focus on people on Royal Road and other like free websites like that and publish them on Kindle Unlimited. And a lot of these people have like quit their jobs and are now just
Mhm.
full-time writers. But we don't really have anything like that in the video landscape. There's so many different platforms and there's so many different like interests that don't necessarily align and I feel like also there's just the for whatever reason like the political aspect is much heavier in film because it's just there's a lot more people involved. It's not as easy a lift. Like if you're just a single author, you can write your book, publish it, build your fan base. On the indie author side, like things are thriving right now. Are you familiar with Dungeon Crawler Carl?
No, I never heard of it.
So it's a book series, it's a lit RPG. It's a story where in some way, shape, or form, role-playing game rules are in effect. Like the main characters can level themselves up. Dungeon Crawler Carl is a story like that, where the main character he basically gets put on a Squid Game style intergalactic TV show and has to, you know, go through just killing shit and whatever. And it's become very successful. Like he started as an indie author, now is on the New York Times bestseller list, got an actual publisher, like an old school paper publisher. He kept all his digital rights and they just published paper versions of the books.
But that's kind of an
So,
outlier, though, right? And that's kind of like the
no, dude, there's a
problem, isn't
lot.
it?
There's a lot of people that are now I can probably from the people like the kinds of stuff I read,
Mhm.
there's probably at least 20 to 30 people that never went through a traditional publisher and are now writing full time. Because like even on Royal Road, like you can get paid. It's like free to read. Um, and it's like ad based for the people
Mhm.
who read it. So
Is there a way to get that to translate to films, though?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like everything is so that's what Amazon has allowed to happen because like I mean basically they rule the digital book space right now.
Yeah, there is none better. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and Kindle Unlimited is fucking great because you pay a monthly fee and any book that's enrolled in the program, you can just download and read.
I feel like everything in Hollywood is kind of, and once again, this is just me generalizing. I know there's probably some pushback to all of these, but I just feel like the big budget movies are becoming too safe and studios are prioritizing profits over storytelling. It's like the stories, and not all, but the stories are getting so damn generic. And a good example of this for me is Stranger Things.
Mm.
That shouldn't have went more than 3 seasons. Like it's obvious that they had a story to tell. They could have told it in 3 seasons, but it was so much fluffery. You can tell Netflix pulled out the money the wallet and money with them folks into doing more season. It's got to the point where I'm like, limp across the finish line, guys.
But that's the thing, man. If Netflix throws $100 million at me, I'm gonna be like, "Yep."
True.
I'm gonna be
I
like, "All
mean,
right,
all right, I guess we're
season
doing this.
37, let's go." You know,
Yeah.
because that's how you fund the stuff that you really want to make. Like Michael Bay does, right? He made, what was it, Pain and Gain?
Yeah.
That was like his indie film. That was the one he wanted to make, and it wasn't like explosions and
Boom.
boom.
Cargo boom. Yeah.
No, he made his money. He got his, card stamped. Make 10 movies, get one movie that's not explosions.
And I'm saying the same thing. I'm out here like pretending like I'm all holier than thou and I got art. But yeah, you're right. If Netflix just put out the wallet and money with me and said, hey, that movie I'm writing, you're gonna make it a series now. I'm like, of course I am.
It was actually this guy, because when I first moved out here, I was working with this group that was doing like YouTube shorts and stuff. And the guy who ran it, he had a friend that was a doctor that lived in Chicago, but for whatever reason they had met and become friends, and he was kind of like a silent partner in what they were doing. But he was like, this guy's advice was like, if anyone tries to buy your shit, sell out immediately.
Mm,
Like, take the money, because then you can use that to make the next thing. You
mm.
know, don't be so precious with your babies that you're like never making any. Like, continue to create your art. Like,
You actually gave me that advice too when I was I know I'm a bit self-aggrandizing this podcast, but when I was writing the movie, I was like, man, I can only see myself playing this role, and I'd be damned if Anthony Mackie comes in and you was like, look, they want Anthony Mackie to do it. You better give it to him. Let Anthony Mackie play the lead.
I mean, it's like, I know, because like we always have the success stories, right? Like Rocky.
Yeah,
Stallone
Sylvester,
wrote
yeah,
that,
wrote that. Yeah.
and he wanted to play Rocky, and like plenty of people tried to buy the script from him, but he was like, I got to play Rocky, and they were like, no, and he like held out until he was able to play Rocky finally. But that's like winning the lottery, bro. If you're basing your life plans around winning the lottery, you're gonna be in for a world of hurt.
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually gonna make a big push for that movie this year and just throw it out there and see if anybody will buy it. And look, you can shelve
Which
it,
one, the
but
zombie movie or
so not a zombie movie, the one I wrote that you guys helped me with.
oh, the one set in Japan?
Yes, that one. I'm gonna actually try to throw that out. I've been refining it. Uh, I like it now. I changed a few things in it. I think it works better. It flows better. So
Mm.
I'm just gonna try to throw it out there. Hey man, somebody buy that junk. Like honestly, if I'm being honest, I wrote that movie with me and Kentez in mind. I'm like, yo, me and Kentez can do this, man. This would be a good one. Like he could be the Japanese lead. I could be the foreign lead. This could be a good movie. But now I'm just like, hey, I think it's a good story. Somebody buy it. Don't give me the
No, for
money.
what it's worth, like you guys would be great in it. His movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
The,
Because he said he wrote it for him and Kintez. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So I agree. Like, that would be great, but like, you know, it's always like how much money and time are you able to put into it realistically?
Well, yeah, that's the thing though, right? Somebody give me a wad of money. Hey man, I like this film. I want to shelf it. And you got enough money? Yeah, cool. Have fun with it.
I've told Mira this. I was like, because we shot a short for her last year, no, the year before now, maybe. Um, she was like going to get feedback on it, and I was like, Mira, just ask him if it sucks. Like, because I'm not gonna name any names. We went to see this movie that a friend of ours had worked on. I won't say in what capacity, but they were doing a screening for it. And Marcus, when I tell you this movie was bad, it was bad. Like, it was bad. It's like there was gonna be an after party at the director's house with like free drinks and barbecue and stuff. And I was like, Mira, we can't go to that. And she's like, I agree. Because like they're gonna ask us what we thought about the movie.
Honesty gonna take over. Like you have to be that honest friend, and nobody likes the honest guy.
Well, we weren't friends with the director. We were friends with somebody who worked in a different position,
Mm.
and but it was like and he's like talking about how he took a second mortgage out on his house to finish
Oh,
funding and stuff.
damn.
And I'm like, at no point in the process did someone tell him this sucks.
Like, bro, don't do this. Oh,
Yeah, like
that's kind of the problem with the indie film market here in Memphis. Like when I got back, um, and I started looking at all these indie films, it was just one flaw because a lot of these films are on Tubi, and the one flaw in a lot of these movies, well, two flaws: terrible storytelling, all the stories were the same, and audio sound like shit in every one of these movies. I'm like, yo. So I literally just,
mhm.
I don't know if you can see back there, but I got a boom mic and a field recorder. I'm like, look, man, somebody got to help these folks out. Like, so I do field recording and audio now just because the movie scene is so shitty up here. You're right. Does it not suck? And somebody got to be
Yeah.
out there and be like, hey, yo, this shit is trash.
Yeah, because like I mean, I sure I'll welcome the other feedback or whatever, but like if it like because you're when you get so close to something, right? Like you're you won't necessarily realize that it sucks until someone's like, yo, this sucks, bro. Like you cannot do this. Like this is not gonna turn out the way you think,
Like this ain't
you
the
know?
one, buddy. Like, yo, I'm not saying you can't do this, but this ain't the one. Everybody needs that honest friend who can be like,
Yeah,
yo,
yeah.
this
And
ain't
it's
it.
hard. It's hard. It's hard to tell somebody like that sucks. Your shit sucks. Like your story sucks, your writing sucks, your ideas suck, you know?
It's only hard if you're an honest broker. If you're being an honest broker and you actually can give constructive criticism, it
Yeah,
does hurt because you understand how much time and effort it goes into writing. You know the whole process. So to look somebody and be like, hey man, yo, buddy, this ain't it. It does hurt because you're putting yourself in that position.
yeah.
But damn it, somebody got to do it because a lot of this stuff now is just trash to me.
Well, and like, I mean, definitely do it before they take a second mortgage out on their house, you know?
I,
Like,
I can only assume dude ain't got no friends. I can assume
well,
dude ain't
that's
got
the
no real
thing.
friends.
He shot it on a shoestring budget, and like a lot of people showed up to like volunteer, and like most of the audience was people who worked on the movie. And I'm like, how did not a single one of you tell him? Because he's somebody asked a question like the Q&A. They're like, "Oh, what are you gonna do for distribution?" And I almost laughed because because I was like, "Distribution? You ain't no, that is not."
But it is a lot of trashy movies on like Tubi. If you go to Tubi, there was a bunch of just like shit movies out there.
Yeah, but they don't pay very much for them,
That's
you
true.
know.
That's true.
So like, I did have a guy I went to high school with that I talked to. This was a few years ago, actually. It was pre-COVID. He came out and stayed here for a minute, but he was working with some people, and they would make a movie for like 25,000 dollars, and I forget where it was at the time, but they would then sell it for like 30, $45,000. So that's, but like they were kind of like a collective, and they were just like they would pop out one of these a year, you know. So it's
Mm.
probably kind of on the level of what you're talking about, but like that's not a lot of money, you know.
Well, that's the problem though, right? Because a lot of indie filmmakers here in Memphis, they'll do the same thing. Like they'll shoot a movie maybe like $20,000. And I'm being like generous saying $20,000. Then they'll get
Hmm.
that $40,000. And then 3 months later, they're shooting another movie. I'm just like, yo, bro, like this, like the quality is gonna go down. But I feel like a lot of folks are using this movie making stuff as a hustle. And they're not really like caring about the end product. And it has to stop. Like, when is it gonna stop? That's my question.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I don't like I personally like I don't think I could release something with my name on it that was like that level of quality, you know? Like like if I had worked on this movie that I'm talking about that I saw, I'd have been like, please take my name out of the credits.
I've been on a couple of
Like
those projects.
it was that rough, you know? And like, are these guys all using fake names? Like, I mean, I guess if like your Memphis scene, if they're making enough money and they don't care about, and they, I guess if they enjoy what they're doing, more power to them, you know?
Nah, man, no. It's not more power to them because they need to step their game up. And look, I'm probably shooting myself in the foot in the Memphis industry right now, but I'm gonna say it like a lot of these guys, to me, seems like they're in it just to get some kind of level of fame and notoriety and to holler at chicks. Like they using this to try to
Mhm.
bang chicks, and I don't like it. It needs to stop. A lot of these folks, they don't have no good solid budget. They don't have no good solid story. And look, sometimes you ain't gotta reinvent the wheel. Every story ain't gotta be original, but damn it, the story gotta be at least good. A lot of these folks
Mhm.
in Memphis, man, they just putting out the same generic shit. And I'm just like, bruh, you can do a gangster movie, but still make it thoughtful, or at least coach your actors. Or
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a weird one to me, man. It seems like I don't know. Maybe I'm just too close to it. I'm taking it too personal, but you know.
Well, it feels like so you know like that's the difference between Japan and the US, right? Like no matter what your job is in Japan, if you're Japanese, like you take pride in it
Yes.
and you try at least within the rigid bounds of Japanese society, how it defines your job, you try to do a good job at that. And we definitely do not have that in the States. I've been reading a lot of stuff about like vertical short form series and stuff that are being picked up and like produced, which just, just vertical video in general, Marcus, like makes me want to choke everyone to death.
That's cool for Instagram reel, but I don't want to see a damn whole movie vertical.
No, or like a series, like I mean, they're doing their short form, but and they're like soap operas basically. But like these people are doing all kinds of shit like that, and I'm like, I mean, don't get me wrong. When I'm in a position where I need the work, I'd be like, all right, sign me up.
I was like, are we
But
the old people in the room though? Are we the old people like, God damn it, that's not film and that's not how it's supposed to be?
I I wonder sometimes, Marcus, because I'm like looking at some of the shit people watch, and I'm like, what is? Am I wrong here? Like, am I the one that's fucked in the head? Because I don't understand anything that's happening. And like, but then again, I see people my age who engage on social media. I mean, I did it at first. You know, I would leave like comments and shit, but I'm now at the point where I'm just like, no, I can't deal with this.
So it's funny because I can contest that what you're saying is true because you used to be a mainstay on my Facebook timeline. And then I noticed you just stopped. I'm like, this man is doing the healthy thing. And I've been doing my podcast now for like 5 years and it's just
Mm.
now starting to pick up and people starting to notice it. So people think I'm being sensationalist, but I'm like, nah, I've been doing this. But I do realize like the more notoriety I get, the more I get people calling me dumb. Like, oh, you stupid. I'm like, oh, really? Damn, dog. Like, is this what comes with getting a little bit of notoriety?
So there was a book I discovered on Kindle Unlimited, read it, loved it, realized there was more published on Royal Road that hadn't been because Kindle Unlimited is exclusive. Like once you publish on there, you can't have it anywhere else.
Mm.
So like, but I realized the at least the start of the second book was on Royal Road because he hadn't finished it. So I go there and I read everything else he has on Royal Road, and I thought it was great. And then I get to the last post, and it's like, "Hey guys, I can't deal with all the negative comments. I've been reading what you're writing, and it's really bringing me down, and so I'm gonna stop writing forever." I
Whoa.
was like, "The dude, what the fuck?" Like, just read the positive comments, or don't read comments at all.
Or
Like,
just don't care. Like you gotta
yeah,
understand what you're getting into when you put yourself out there in any public creative medium. People, you're there to be judged. People are going to judge you, and that's
Well,
what they can do.
yes, but I will say saying just don't care is a bit reductionist, Marcus. People get nasty.
Well, I don't read all my comments, and that's okay. So that's a good point. I don't read all my comments. If I do read a negative comment, I'm pretty good at the moment being like, whatever, dog, cool. Or I always ask why, because I have a curious nature. So if I hear a negative comment, I'm like, hey, why do you think that way? Depending on the comment, I will engage, or I'll be like, oh yeah, just a hater.
So, this is another thing that I've found with the indie author scene is a lot of them have Patreons,
Mm,
and uh, so like the authors will not read the comments on Royal Road or Amazon. They'll only engage with the people on their Patreon. So it's people who
smart.
have to pay
Mm,
to be. So like, if there's a negative comment on there, it's more likely to be constructive
constructive. Hmm.
rather than like mean spirited,
Yeah.
because someone has to literally pay for the privilege to insult you.
Tell me about Cannes, and especially why are you going to Cannes, and what's the goal in Cannes?
So, like I said, Mira has been shopping around stuff for Butcherbird, or is like that's the goal, right? Is we have a slate of some original IP from people at Butcherbird, right? That they've written scripts, much like yours. So we went to TIFF last year, Toronto International Film
So
Festival. For those
thank
that
you for
don't know.
those who don't know.
And so Mira went to the film market there just to like start meeting and talking to people and whatever. And now she has a slate of stuff that we want to try to do. And so we're going to the Cannes film market because like TIFF, Cannes, Berlin, I think there's a couple others are like known to kind of be like if you're shopping stuff, that's where you go
Mhm.
to do stuff. And so Berlin we couldn't go to like timing for working on other stuff, but we already booked our flights for Cannes, our places to stay, and our film market passes. So the goal is to go there and like uh kind of meet people, see the panels. And so like so what I say, like the short answer is no, like we haven't actually like sold anything to anyone. The long answer is we're in the process of trying to see what we need to do that and like how feasible it is and like what the process going through the future is.
Good luck to you, man. Because one thing I know, and I look, this is gonna sound so bad when I say this, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Um, I've been in a fight 2 times on set, 2 times, and I'm not proud to say that, but 2 times I actually got in a like legit fist fight on set.
Mm.
And both times it's been against the French, the goddamn French, bro. Like the French running their mouth too much on set, bro, getting too familiar, and I had to tighten their asses up.
Okay, so okay, so
You try to pick your words. Like, you try to pick your words.
so when okay, so when Mira and I bought our passes to the film market, which also gets you into the full festival. So there's like the festival, which is just the screenings, and there's the film market, which is where people are meeting and buying. There's like separate screenings for the film market for buyers, for people who are trying to sell their movie, right? So it's like it's a parallel but two separate things process. Okay. I really really want to do a bad French accent right now because
Go for it.
we
Hurry
got
up.
an email. We got an email when we bought our film market passes from someone who works for the festival and was like, okay, I'm not gonna do the bad. She was like, Marcus, you don't know how hard it is not to do the French accent, right? Because it just makes it so much better. But basically, the email, because we're going as under our Butcher Bird, um, as we have our own production company, but we do a lot of work for and with Butcher Bird, and so we're using our Butcher Bird uh, IDs for this, or email addresses. She was like, "Damn it, I'm not gonna do terrible French. So hard." She's basically like, "I cannot tell that Butcher Bird actually makes movies. Um, it seems like you only do corporate videos. If you can't show that you are actively working on a movie in the last year, you are not welcome at the film market because it's only for actual professionals."
That is snooty as fuck. And y'all got a IMDb page that she can just look up and find all the stuff. Like, you're not hard to find. If I go to IMDb right now, I can find Butcher Bird and
Well,
all the stuff
well,
you
so
did.
here's the thing. When Mira bought her pass to the Toronto film market, you know what they said? What's your credit card number?
Mm.
Because, like, why the fuck is someone buying a pass to a film market at a film festival
With no films.
or just no interest? Like, it's a waste of money. Like you would only buy a film market pass if you have some kind of interest in the field. Even if you're not currently working on a movie, maybe you're someone who wants to,
That's a good point. Yeah.
you know? Like the only people who are going to buy that are people who are personally invested in spending that money to go to the film market. And that is the can is the only film. I'm not saying, well, that I'm aware of that does that gatekeeping bullshit.
You know what that is, though, right? That's a sense of people who ain't shit using a little bit of power they have to feel like they shit. Because I'll be the first to tell you I ain't shit, but God damn it, you ain't shit either, and that's what really pisses me
Yeah,
off.
yeah. No, and also I will say, like, to your point, I was telling this to my buddy that I went to high school with about the whole can thing. He was like, you know, there's a lot of stereotypes about a lot of different people. And I have to say, the fucking French are the only ones who deserve it.
The thing about stereotypes, it's always a little bit of truth in them to make
Yeah,
them
yeah.
just fly off. But man, the French, the snootiness, the attitude.
Well, no, I can't say that. Never mind.
Yeah, yeah, pick your words. But yeah,
No,
yeah,
I
yeah,
just can't even talk. Like, it's not even,
yeah.
I can't.
But hey, I love my French brothers and sisters for saying that. Like, look, I know you guys, I love you guys, but you know,
No,
you know,
no, dude. Like,
French
uh,
people, you know what we're saying.
I don't think I've ever done a terrible accent to make fun of any culture but the French. I've never done it.
Same here. I'm gonna go ahead and say it because I said in the beginning podcast that got cut off. We met on the set of the Adam Sherman film She's Just a Shadow. And say what you want about Adam Sherman, I will always sing that man praises because he gave me two Hollywood movies. He gave me She's Just a Shadow, and then he just gave me this new one. You can't say nothing bad about Adam Sherman to me. That's my homie.
I agree. I love Adam.
When I first read his script, She's Just a Shadow, I didn't give a damn what nobody said. I'm like, man, this script is good. I love this shit. Like, I read it all in one damn day. I'm like, yo, this is good. I'm like, I like this. I would have did this shit for free. And even the second movie, Vampires of the Velvet Lounge, I was like, yo, I like this, dude.
As a like someone on set, which I have been as a media manager many times, uh like kind of the people you're working with are more important. And like, let me just raise a hand and say that like the crew in Japan was fucking awesome and I
They
love them.
were. Yes.
Like fucking great.
Yes.
Amazing to work with. And I don't know if you had much interaction with Kawapi-sama, the DP.
Yes, I did. Cool
That
guy.
guy is a fucking legend, bro.
Yes.
Like just insane. Love that guy. But like as an actor, which I am technically an actor now. I don't know if I told you this, but
Ooh.
um like if you read a part, even if the rest of the movie sucks, if you think you can own that part, like you have to do it,
Yes.
you know?
Yes.
Unless you
Yes.
just hate the people that you're gonna like. If you hate the director, don't do it. It's not gonna work, you know. Uh, but even if someone's like, if it's for exposure, if you read it and you're like, yeah, I want to be exposed for this part, like you have to do it. Like that's getting the role is like the dream, right? Like the role where you're like, I will nail this so hard,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah. And I say they are few and far between because sometimes you don't get to choose. You're putting yourself up there, and so much of it is other people deciding if you're good enough. You don't get to decide in so many senses. So yeah, if you do get the chance to pick the role, hell yeah, do it. It's gonna be another hard pivot, but I gotta ask you this: what do you think is gonna be the funniest name we're gonna find out in the Epstein files?
I I can't even with the fucking Epstein files. Like what is
You can't make this shit up, dude.
like what do we even say besides just like go read it?
It's so funny, right? And I'm glad I'm talking to you because you're in Hollywood. And I never forget in 2018, no, the movie we did came out in 2019, and I was in Hollywood and I was trying to look for an agent and everything. And I never forget, it was during the Me Too movement and the whole Harvey Weinstein thing, and people were trying to make it seem like everybody in Hollywood was a sexual derelict and everything was going on and they was touching little boys and stuff like that. But now we figured out it was really just the rich and powerful elite assholes. And I can't let it slide, man, because everybody was telling me I was part of Satan's minions when I was trying to break into Hollywood. I can't let y'all forget this, dude. I'm like, here's the sexual cabal y'all was looking for. Why can't we talk about this more?
Dude, it's I like what's her name? Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell, yes.
Yeah, I don't know how to say her name, so I'm not gonna try. G Maxwell. Let's call her G Maxwell. G Max. Because she's in the Super Max. Should be anyway. She like her job is to just order the sex slaves. How? Just how? Like as a human being, do you? Well, I'm his personal assistant, so I guess I'll just.
This is something I've been dealing with personally a lot because I remember when we were saying Hillary Clinton had a sex chain in the back of the Pizza Hut, and I'm like, that make no damn sense, right? And now we actually find out a ring, and then you start finding out like the background story of all this. And I think pedophilia is a sickness. I do really, really do. But the more I read and I look into this, I don't feel like this is about pedophilia. I just think it's a bunch of assholes who just getting away with shit because they wanted to get away with shit. It's almost like this ain't about pedophilia, it's about power. And I'm struggling to grasp that right now.
Yeah, um I'm not by any means like an expert on it, but like from what I've read, it is about power. It's very much about power. Crazy to me that someone would be the personal assistant to order the sex slaves.
Yeah, how do you vet the
Who's
person like
willing
that?
to do
Yeah.
that?
Yeah, how do you vet that person? Like, hey,
Like,
look, I
is,
got
is there a back page for pedophile personal assistant?
see, right. And that's the whole thing. Like, that was your whole job to find victims.
Yeah.
I, that can't be the standard.
Head of the Olympic Committee for Los Angeles is in the Epstein files. And they haven't got rid of him. Um, and he sends the kind of, or Epstein sent him an email, or he sent Epstein an email. I don't remember, but it was like the photo was redacted. It's like, oh, I got my shipment. And he's like, yeah, me too. And his response was like, oh yeah, it was like allergy medication.
Maybe,
Who
maybe,
who
but I'm gonna need that. I'm gonna need that to prove.
who
Like,
who emails photos of their allergy medication to each other? I'll tell you, no one.
nobody.
That's who.
This
Like,
Zyrtec really helping.
yeah. It's like, get the fuck out of here, dude.
Now, I think we're gonna really find out what's in the Epstein files, but it's not gonna be from America. I think these other countries like France,
Mm,
the UK. They're gonna go ahead and throw out
China.
this information. Yeah, China. China's gonna throw out this information, and we're gonna find out what it is eventually. The sad thing is, I think we already know.
I would say that in my personal opinion, anyone who acts surprised if it comes out that Donald Trump is a pedophile should be punched in the face. If
That's a good, yeah. Phrasing is important. You're
Yeah.
right.
So that's
And
my opinion.
yes, yes. I'm not
And
saying he is.
mhm,
I'm just
I,
asking the question.
I don't know. So I don't think I told you, Marcus. I've had an idea for a podcast that I want to do myself. And it's going to be called No Conclusions, the podcast where we're just asking questions. And my original plan was for the first episode to be titled, Did Joe Rogan Kill Your Baby? But in light of recent events, I feel like if I do this, the first episode needs to be changed to, Did RFK Jr. kill your baby?
To make this happen, man. Like, what I gotta do to make this happen? Because honestly, and I'm gonna say this because I grew up in Arkansas and I've always been a political junkie. As flawed as this man is, I used to always listen to Rush Limbaugh. And he was a political genius because he never made definitive statements. Everything
Mm-hmm.
was phrased as a question. So he can put the idea in your head and then have plausible deniability about what he was saying. He could do something like, is Hillary Clinton a stupid whore bitch? I don't know. I'm just asking the question. I'm like, did you just call Hillary Clinton a whore bitch? No, I'm just asking the question. I'm like,
Well, and that's why I wanted Joe Rogan, because he's very much in that grifter mindset and speaking patterns. Him and Gwyneth Paltrow, like
oh,
if
yes.
you look at them and the way they talk about things, they're like the same. Like their phrasing, the words they choose, all of that. So like my idea, that's why I wanted Joe Rogan to be the one who was killing babies, potentially.
Yeah,
We don't know
potentially.
because we're just asking
The
questions,
questions.
which is something they say all the fucking time. So it was very much, the intent was for it to be like, did Joe Rogan kill your baby? Let's look at the numbers. We can't judge if more people that listen to Joe Rogan had babies. I don't know. We don't know. Just asking
Asking the
questions.
questions.
That's what we do here.
Yeah,
We ask
questions.
questions.
Oh. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the podcast. Before I do that, man, can you please tell the people where to find you at and what projects you're working on, and give a shout out to your lovely partner, Mita Kim, which I just did, but I'm just
Yeah,
lobbing it.
it's just arborentertainment.com. Um, we do video production work. Mira really likes 360 video, even though, so